Good evening and welcome to the Putnam County School District Employee of the Year Recognition Ceremony. It is a privilege to recognize each and every employee who has been nominated by their peers as the Teacher and School-Related Employee of the Year. Tonight we want to recognize and honor our outstanding classroom teachers who have demonstrated a superior capacity to inspire the love of learning in students of all backgrounds and abilities. Will all of our nominees for Teacher of the Year please stand for a round of applause? Thank you. You may be seated. We are also here to recognize and honor our most outstanding school-related employees of the year for their contributions to their school, department, and community. We could not do our jobs without you. Will all of our nominees for school-related Employee of the Year please stand for a round of applause? Thank you. You may be seated. Each of you, in whatever position you hold, extends yourself beyond basic required duties by displaying initiative and creativity. You give of yourselves to our students, school, and district. You enhance student learning and the highest achievement through either teaching or supporting literacy-based activities. You have earned the respect and admiration of your fellow colleagues. You demonstrate exceptional skill and dedication to the job of educating our students. You are the Teacher of the Year. You are the School-Related Employee of the Year, chosen because you have exemplified these qualities and others have noticed. I commend your efforts. Congratulations. At this time, if you will please stand and join me in the pledge to our flag and remain standing for the blessing of our dinner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come this evening, God, giving you praise, giving you honor and glory. Thanking you, oh God, for this opportunity to celebrate those that give so much and ask for little in return. God, we pray for our district, the leadership, and for all of those, God, that work together to make us the great district that we know that we're capable of becoming. Thank you for every stakeholder. Thank you for every parent, every child, God, for we realize that when we work together, things happen for the good of those that we serve. Now, God, we pray your blessings be upon the food that is prepared for us. We pray your blessings upon the hands that prepared it, and bless those that made it possible. And God, we'll be careful to give you praise, honor, and glory, that as we partake of it, we may be able to do thy will. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
At this time, we would like to thank our sponsors, who without their support, this recognition could not take place. Providing the overall winner monetary gift, Georgia Pacific Corporation, Palaca Operations, Mr. Kevin Curry and Mr. Terry Hadaway. Providing our delicious meal from Musselwhite Seafood, Bates and Hewitt Insurance, Mr. Ben and Kathy Bates. Mr. Benji Bates, Richard Frederick, and Jenny Robbins. Mr. Hoyt Muir, the St. Monica's Catholic Church, and the Knights of Columbus, who provided our breakfast to start off the recognition for all our nominees. Your generosity and support of the outstanding employees of the Putnam County School District is greatly appreciated. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kevin Curry, Vice President, Georgia Pacific Palaca Operations.
Good evening, and thank you. And many thanks to all the teachers that are here and the employees. I usually bring a long speech with me, but tonight I thought I would shorten it, and Terry wouldn't write it for me anyways. Again, one of the things that is really near and dear to Georgia Pacific is education. And we're so blessed to have Dr. Cernsey in his new role, and I'd like to see us give him a hand of applause. We are already seeing progress, and I know that we're going to see significant progress over the next 4 years. And that is so needed because for Georgia Pacific, the most important thing for us is our employees. And you touch every single one of them, I am confident. And in doing so, it's so important for us to understand the value you can create for Georgia Pacific through education. And that's why we want to be so involved with our school system, and will continue to be involved over the next several years. So again, thank you to all the recipients and all the winners. And I know there's going to be 2 critical winners that will enjoy their check. So thank you so much.
At this time, I would like to introduce our special guests who have joined us this evening. Dr. Rick Cernsey, Sr., Superintendent of Schools. Laura France, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Thomas Bowling, Associate Superintendent for Support Services. Our school board members, Ms. Nikki Cummings, District 1. Ms. Sandra Gilyard, District 2. Mr. David Buckles, District 3. Kathy Jorgensen, District 4. Jane Crawford, Board Chairperson, District 5. We would also like to recognize another elected official, Ms. Mary Lawson Brown, City Commission. I'd also like at this time to recognize our district directors. When I call your name, please stand. Rhonda Odom, Chief Financial Officer. Nikki Hawthorne, Food Service. Renee Huff, Career and Technical Education. Andy Burnett, Exceptional Student Education. Sandy Scranton, Purchasing. Deborah Buckles, Department of Federal Programs. Travis Weaver, Director of School Safety and Security and Student Services. Helen Muir, Area Director Central and Department of Elementary Education. Tanya Whitehurst, Area Director West and Department of Secondary Education. John Chastain, Maintenance Department. And Rodney Simons, Transportation Department. At this time, will all principals and assistant principals please stand? We thank you for your leadership and commitment to our employees, students, and our community. We truly appreciate your efforts. At this time, would Ms. Bobby Okeson, the 2017 Putnam County Teacher of the Year from Price Middle School, please stand? It is an honor and a privilege to introduce Ms. Jessica Solano from Polk County, the Florida Department of Education 2017 Macy's Teacher of the Year.
Good evening. It is so exciting to be with you tonight because I will tell you that no matter who is selected for Putnam County's Teacher of the Year and School-Related Employee of the Year, it really is life-changing. And I'm sure Bobby can also agree with me that it is something that is incredibly life-changing for the better. But one time when my life was changed in a completely different way was when my parents and my family, our family size tripled overnight. And my mom did not give birth to triplets, but instead we opened up our house to foster kids in Pasco County. And so we were so excited that we had finally gotten the chance to be able to open up our house to foster children. We had gone through all the paperwork, we had gone through all the interviews, and finally we were going to be getting our very first foster child. And really it wasn't even going to be just one, it was going to be 3. It was a sibling set that we didn't want to break up. So we had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old coming to our house. Yes, talk about life-changing. So I still remember them coming down our driveway in the social worker's van and my family rushing out to meet them. We were so excited we could barely stand it. We could see their 3 little faces in the back seat, and you could tell they were not quite as excited as we were. And as the social worker came around and she unbuckled each one from their car seats and they slowly crawled out of the van, they were clinging to each other. And you could still see that there were tears in their eyes. They were still crying because they had just been taken from their mother. And now here they were with these new people they're supposed to call a family, and this new house they're supposed to call a home. And at first they were fearful. They were hesitant to bond. No one had taught them what stability felt like. So they were always on edge, always waiting for the bottom to fall out. But over time, they did start to let us in. But it was only once they were willing to allow people in, to give that trust, allow to have their heart opened up to love, and also to be able to see that just because of the events that had happened in their life, it didn't mean that their life was over, even at 4, 2, and 1. I realize now, going through all of this, that some of the lessons I learned while being a foster sibling later would impact me as a teacher. First, I had to learn that I had to be willing to be patient. I had to know that just because I was ready to move on or I was ready for my sibling to be able to heal, it didn't mean it was just going to happen. Just like in my classroom, if I have a student that is struggling with some of the material, just because I really want him to get it doesn't mean that he's going to get it right away. So I need to be willing to try different strategies and new techniques. I also had to learn that I have to have a heart for children. In the case of my foster siblings, I had to have a heart for hurting children. And that meant that when my siblings and I would get into arguments and go to sleep, that meant the next morning waking up ready to start fresh. And our students deserve that same chance. And finally, it made me get impacted as a teacher in realizing that just because my foster siblings were coming in with situations that I could never have dreamed would have happened, let alone in the community around me, it didn't mean that their future was for certain. It didn't mean that there was only negativity or a bleak future ahead of them, just like in our classroom. Just because a kid comes into my classroom saying, oh, I'm not a math person, doesn't mean that he has to leave that way. So it helped me always keep in mind what could happen and what's going to happen yet. Always looking at yet. And Christian taught me about yet. Christian was a little 18-month-old foster child that we got, blonde hair, blue-eyed, gorgeous little guy. And he seemed to have the cards stacked against him. His mom was schizophrenic, and his dad was bipolar. And as much as this little guy would love to share and love to talk and love to just have a great time, there were times where he physically, biologically could not control himself. And he would just rip the room apart and have tremendous tantrums. And night after night, my parents and I would help Christian put his room back together, put the toys away, and talk about maybe tomorrow we can see a breakthrough. And I remember there were so many nights where I was rocking Christian back and forth, after a tantrum and trying to sing to calm him down. And I started to feel his breathing start to slow and his eyes start to close. And I remember battling with my 10th grade mind of what the future had in store for Christian. Was it all over now? Did his past dictate his future? Or could we keep our eyes on yet? And thankfully, Christian did start to heal. He did start to evolve, and he started to talk and communicate. And eventually, he was adopted by a beautiful family who loves him just how he is. Christian's story isn't unique. There was child after child that had come through our house, and there's been child after child who's come through my classroom that have their own unique stories. But after going through all of these stories, how could you not be impacted? I remember opening the doors to my very first classroom, and I remember being ready. I was just going to be the best teacher, and I was just going to impact them, and they were going to walk through my class and suddenly have all this knowledge, and everything, all the problems would go away. That's not how it happened. But I remember that as soon as they would start to struggle, as soon as they would start to come against those challenges, I would start getting scared. Because I started seeing all the faces of all the foster children from my home who came in helpless, who came in feeling like failures, and I didn't want that for my students. So I would step in and I would try to protect them. I would try to make it a little bit easier for them. So then I'd go home to my husband completely exhausted because I had done my job and their job. And I remember telling him, my kids can't do this. My kids are living in poverty. My kids have all these situations that are going on at home. My kids are so far below grade level. There's no way that I could get them to do what I'm supposed to do. They cannot meet these standards, not my kids. So maybe if I just water it down a little bit, if I just give them a piece that they can be successful at least they won't feel like total failures. I can see now that my thinking was completely flawed. By thinking that they would be making a mistake equaled failure for them and for me. But truly, when they make mistakes, that's when they learn. I wanted them to take risks, to try all these new things, but that wasn't going to happen if I wasn't willing to take a risk on them first. Today in my classroom, my students enter the door knowing every single day is going to be incredibly challenging, and they come in smiling anyways. They know that they have been believed in. They know that if they're not getting it now, it doesn't mean they'll never get it, and they're willing to put in all the effort it would take to come against the struggle. So I remember the very first time when I was teaching in this way, I stood in front of the class saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make them work for it. And I stood at the front of the class and I said, all right, guys, the answer is 150. What's the question? And they looked at me a little puzzled, not really sure what I was talking about, wondering where are the other numbers? Where's the math question we're working on today? And I said, no, I have the answer. I want you to come up with the question. So they came back to their seats and they started writing down some answers. I started getting 150 in word form. I started seeing 150 in hundreds and tens. And one student even put 150 tally marks on his paper. Yes, talk about frustrating. But I will not rob them of another learning opportunity. I am going to stand firm. And I said, no, I have the answer. What could my question be? I started getting some responses like, well, what is 100 plus 50? Okay, we're getting closer, but I think we can go to a little bit higher order thinking type of question. So they kept working at it, and you could start to see that my fears were coming to reality, that they were starting to give up. They were starting to feel like failures, and their hands are going up in the air. I can't do this. I gathered them around me and said, guys, listen. I would never ask you to do anything that I didn't think you were fully capable of doing. But the only way that this is going to work is if you really step out of your comfort zone and you just make a mistake in front of everyone else who's also making mistakes. And let's learn from this. Let's work this out. Give me something real. And they went back to their seats, and in the 2-hour math block that we had, we worked on that one problem. But at the end of that lesson, I started seeing students that were listening to each other, truly listening and critiquing each other's thinking. When I would come around and ask them questions, they would hang on to every single word, waiting for one clue to help them with their answer. And I started getting answers like, Bailey is trying to earn her Girl Scout badge. She has to sell 188 Girl Scout cookies, but so far she's only sold 38. So how many more does she have to sell? Never in a million years would I have gotten that response from a student if I had stood at the front of the class and said, all right, class, 38 plus y equals 188. Let's solve for y. We're learning about variables today. It became so much more than a math lesson. Instead, it became a moment of discovery. They started learning a little bit more about themselves, how they learn, and they started being able to see it's okay to have strengths and weaknesses, and to be able to work together to create a solid, authentic answer. In essence, they were solving for why in more ways than one. They were literally solving for why, but they were also solving for why, W-H-Y, why they come to class. Why be here in the first place? And it starts with our W, willing. They have to be willing to do what it takes to meet their goal. They have to be willing to make mistakes. They have to be willing to put in the effort. Then H, you have to have a heart for it. They had to connect some of their past experiences. They had to start falling in love with the rugged demands of learning. And then Y, yet. They had to put yet as their goal. Just because they weren't getting it now doesn't mean that we need to give up. I just haven't gotten it yet. This lesson translates to teachers as well. For teachers, when we make mistakes, it's played out in front of our audience of students, and they get to watch us fall flat on our faces sometimes. But that's when they get to see the authentic struggle that we need to encourage them to go through every single day. When we show our students that we know how to solve for why, that would make them start to be more willing to also solve for why in their own lives. And when students do that, miracles happen. Gabriel, from last year in my class, his mom came in at orientation right before school started and said, okay, listen, he has an IEP, he has a 504, you need to go downstairs, you need to read it right now. He does not follow directions, he will not behave in school, and he has a learning disability, so he will not achieve. So don't be asking him to be doing all these things and get A's on his test because he just can't. So it's one of those parents who say, I am so glad you came in and I cannot wait to work with you for the rest of the year. But you know, she wasn't lying. Gabriel did have an IEP. He did have a 504. He did have a learning disability. He had all of this. He had some behavioral issues we had to work through. But over time, Gabriel started realizing that it's okay to let people know that we struggle. He started letting people in. And over time, he became a leader in our class, asking all of these questions to his teammates to help coach them and get them better. He was willing to make mistakes. He started having a heart for struggle, productive struggle. And he started realizing that if he focused his eyes on yet, he could do anything. This little guy with a learning disability who wasn't supposed to achieve embodied empowerment for his peers and scored a nearly perfect score on the math FSA. Incredible. The process of solving for why also worked for a little girl who every single year was sent to the principal's office because she was never paying attention. She was always reading her book or wasn't making friends, and over again she would be sent to the principal's office, to the point where the principal said, "You will never amount to anything." Yes. But because she had others who believed in her, and she was willing to put in the effort it would take to change, because she had a heart for growing and for having a growth mindset, and also because she focused her eyes on what she could be and not what was determined for her in 4th grade, she now stands before you as the Florida Teacher of the Year. Thank you. Our goal for every student should be that we help them find those limits. Not so that it's a parameter for them to work within, but so that it can be a platform for them to reach their next great accomplishment. But it starts with us. No matter who is picked for Putnam County's Teacher of the Year, School-Related Employee of the Year, each of us needs to return to our school sites thinking, what am I willing to do to impact my kids? Do I have a heart for this? What can I get excited about? What will my passion be? And most importantly, think about the potential of yet. Forget the excuses. Forget the barriers. What can they do that they haven't done yet? Thank you so much.
At this time, please join me in welcoming our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Rick Surrency.
Wow, after hearing that speech, I'm ready to go teach, aren't you? It's pretty cool. Thank you, Jessica, and that was very inspiring. On behalf of our school board, I want to welcome you here, and I'm very honored to be in front of such an awesome crowd. Our teachers and our school-related employees, this is the highlight of our year right here when we celebrate everything you've done. And it is truly an honor just to be in the same room with such a large family. And this is a family atmosphere. And we know so many people here, and we have so many things in common. It's just an awesome family as part of our Putnam County School District. I do want to mention that we do have a teacher, I won't mention her name, but who was in a serious car accident yesterday morning. And just ask that you keep her in your prayers. She's, kind of in a critical condition now, but, we're monitoring that. And we just want you to keep her and her family in your prayers. And, teaching's tough work, but, we're human too. And we need to reach out and, remember that we have families and we have a life. And just keep them in your prayers. One thing, as I thought about some of my comments, as a former teacher, it was always important to remember that the people we come in contact with, somehow we make an impact on them that will forever touch them for the rest of their lives. And how many times have you had kids come up to you years and years later and say, you know what, you did something for me years and years ago. You made me who I am. And that's probably the ultimate reward that we in education can get. And I've kind of had an opposite story. A couple years ago, I was in Walmart, and I had this 40-something-year-old man come up to me and said, I recognize you. I think you were my teacher. And I'm thinking, man, this is going to be great. He's going to tell me how I shaped his life and all that. So I was just getting ready for a great story. And all of a sudden, he said, you remember that day in class, your overhead projector caught on fire and started smoking? I said, yeah, I remember that. How'd you know that? He said, I was in your class, and you stepped out for a minute, and we got tired of copying notes, so I thought I'd shove paper in that overhead, and we shut it down. And I got to thinking, I need to write this guy up, But I guess the statute of limitations were over. But it did tell me one thing. That guy was not engaged. And my teaching style at the time, was not very effective. So we need to remember, everything we do in class is touching the future. And we make an impact that kids, that you may not hear about it now, but years from now, somehow you might know about it and you may not know about it. But it's such a great feeling to know that we're having an impact on our future. And speaking of that, I'm very honored to introduce our next speaker, Bobby Okeson from Price Middle School. And if you read her profile, it's pretty inspiring itself. And you're talking about engaging kids and touching every kid in class. And if you read that, she just talks about how she makes sure every child is in a position to learn, whether they're standing or sitting, no matter what home life they come from. Bobby is engaging those kids to make sure they learn. And what a phenomenal Teacher of the Year we had this past year. So I'm happy to introduce Bobby Okeson. Please come and share a few thoughts.
Good evening, and congratulations to all the winners this evening. You may not walk away with the prize, but you are all winners this evening. You all should be extremely proud to be selected to represent your schools. I know everyone at your school, including your family and friends, is cheering you on. I know I have my favorites tonight. I know exactly how you are feeling. You're probably a little nervous. I know I am. You are here because you deserve to be here. You are the teacher that makes those students feel special. You deal with more things in a 6.5-hour day than most people can deal with in a week. You come to work each day ready to make a difference in children's lives. You are the smile that brightens everyone's day. You are the difference in the lives of many, especially in our Putnam County. 1 year ago today, I sat in your seat thinking, I wonder who'll be the Teacher of the Year for Putnam County. I knew it wasn't me. I sat there and I was done. But there was this loud noise, and I knew it was me only because of the person that was hugging me. I walked to the front, never knowing how this moment would change my life. That one moment led to a journey I will never forget. I have met the Commissioner of Education, the Chancellor of Education, eaten dinner at the governor's mansion with the governor and his wife, and I have been invited to share ideas with the governor. He asked our opinions, and I gave them. You learn that your voice matters, and I empower you to use your voice. You have an opportunity to affect more than just the students in your classroom. Our doors should always be open, and we should always want to grow. Putnam County is an amazing place to be, and our role in the students' lives is critical. I have 3 pieces of advice to the winner this evening. First, breathe. Take it in. I'm taking my own advice right now. It will go by faster than you can imagine, and you want to remember how incredible this year is going to be for you. You will have an opportunity to meet some amazing people. Jessica is one of them, and it was wonderful to have her in my classroom today to show off our Putnam County. You'll make great friends and network for the future. I kept a journal this year. I'm a journal writer. And it has been interesting in planning this speech to look back at the year and the things I wrote in, and you forget a lot of things, so I recommend getting a journal. You will also be treated to one of the most incredible weeks by Macy's. It will take your breath away. So my recommendation is you buckle up. Second, share what you learn and help others. You will be asked to join the LEAD network. No matter what, please do it. You will be stepping out of your comfort zone, but it will be the best professional development you have ever experienced. They will cultivate what is already within you, and it will be an amazing opportunity for you to grow and enhance what you already have. And last but not least, the phrase, "it goes without saying," should not exist. Thank the people that have helped get you here. Thank your family and friends. It is a passion, and they understand that. My husband alone is amazing in all that he gives to me. Tonight, I want to personally thank my administrators for what they have done for me. Mary Beth Hedstrom, I believe she's in the back. I hope so. I thank you for giving me my first job, but I also thank you for cultivating my outside-the-box thinking. You allowed me to paint my first classroom and taught me that it is easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. Everybody knows that. You never stopped encouraging me and showing me what kind of a teacher I could be. I will be eternally grateful for you. I am an engaging type of teacher. I don't stand still at all, and a lot of times things happen in my room and I don't know about it. Mary Beth Hedstrom is someone that can sneak in your classroom and you don't know it. So oftentimes I would be teaching and all of a sudden there'd be this arm goes up. It doesn't look like a third grade arm. And it would be Mary Beth. And I'd be looking going, oh my goodness, what did I just say? What did I just do? So I appreciate that because she reminded me we are all kids and we should always cultivate that within ourselves. So I thank you for all that you have given me. Second, and most important, I believe that we should have an Administrator of the Year. And if that were the case, Leah Lundy would have my vote. Leah was a I can't look at her. Can't look at her. She was a huge reason why I came to the middle school. I loved to be challenged and knew it was time to, after teaching 3rd and 5th grade for many years. She made my transition easier for me. Going from elementary school to middle school is like going from Earth to Mars. It is quite unique. And she helped that journey for me. She supported me in everything I wanted to do, from paint my whole hallway to having bicycles as student desks. She never flinches when I come up with a new idea and always offers me an encouraging word. Her door is always open, no matter how busy she seems to be. This past year and a half, she has been an amazing support system for me. She let me teach with an IV attached to my arm because she knew that it would be far worse for me to have to take time off. But when I did have to take the medical leave of absence, I truly believe she was the only person that truly understood how hard that was for me. As wonderful as this past year has been, it has also been the worst year for me. Through every horrible moment, she has been there with a smile, kind word, and a hug. She has the biggest heart and cares about her students and employees. There is nothing she won't do for you. Her heart is always in the right place. I have remained at Price because of her generosity, her desire to make it better than when she found it, and her willingness to help all of the students. I want her to know in front of all of you how much she has meant to me in this past year and a half. You truly are an administrator that is in it for the right reasons. Thank you. And in closing, I'm channeling Mary Beth Hedstrom. Those of you that know her, I'm going to close with a poem. That's one of the things I absolutely love about her. She is an eloquent speaker, but she also finds just the right thing to read. So tonight I'm going to read Heart of a Teacher by Paula Fox. And it's Literacy Week, so it's perfect. The child arrives like a mystery box with puzzle pieces inside. Some of the pieces are broken or missing, and others just seem to hide. But the heart of a teacher can sort them out and help the child to see the potential for greatness he has within, a picture of what he can be. Her goal isn't just to teach knowledge by filling the box with more parts. It's putting the pieces together to create a work of art. The process is painfully slow at times. Some need more help than others. Each child is a work in progress with assorted shapes and colors. First, she creates a classroom where the child can feel safe in school, where he never feels threatened or afraid to try, and kindness is always the rule. She knows that a child can achieve much more than he feels secure inside, if he feels secure inside, when he's valued and loved and believes in himself. She models and teaches good character and respect for one another, how to focus on strength, not weaknesses, and how to encourage each other. She gives the child the freedom he needs to make choices on his own, so he learns to become more responsible and is able to stand alone. He's taught to be strong and think for himself as his soul and spirit heal, and the puzzle that's taking shape inside has a much more positive feel. The child discovers the joy that comes from learning something new, and his vision grows as he begins to see all the things he can do. A picture is formed as more pieces fit, an image of the child within with greater strength and confidence, and a belief that he can win. All because a hero was there in the heart of a teacher who cared, enabling the child to become much more than he ever imagined or dared. A teacher with a heart for her children knows what teaching is all about. She may not have all the answers, but on this, she has no doubt. When asked which subjects she loves to teach, she answers this way and smiled. It's not the subjects that matter. It's all about teaching the child. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Nominees, I would like to ask that you please Follow your program, and when the person ahead of you is being recognized, please make your way behind the camera and over to the right of the stage. We will now begin our presentations for School-Related Employee of the Year. Please come forward as I am reading your introduction. Tonight, our awards will be presented by Dr. Rick Surency, Superintendent of Schools, Laura France, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Debbie Decubellis, Area Director of South and Department Director of Staff Services. Our first nominee tonight is the first person students and parents see as they drive up to Browning Pierce Elementary each morning. They are greeted by the smiling face of Elise Kite. While her title may be Executive Secretary, she goes above and beyond to take care of the students, staff, and families of Browning Pierce Elementary. Elise handles all the school finance matters and staff needs efficiently, and yet she still finds time to coordinate the parent drop-off and pick-up daily. She makes an effort to get to know every student, greeting them each morning with a positive attitude that brings a smile to every person she meets. For over 15 years, beginning at Jenkins Middle School and Palaca High School, the last 3 years at Browning Pierce, her positive energy has been contagious. She is the epitome of our school motto, every child, every day. Ladies and gentlemen, Deanna Elise Kite. Our next nominee is a true Raider, and for the last 2 years has given all of her spare time to the students of Crescent City High School. Karen Baker is the head varsity softball coach, varsity cheerleading sponsor for football and basketball, junior class sponsor, as well as being on the homecoming committee. Her duties as a parapro during the day are focused on monitoring the credit recovery lab and supervising the in-school suspension class. Karen is a real asset to both of these programs by counseling with students on their own goals and action steps to get them back on track. She is loved and respected by all of the students, faculty, and staff. Crescent City High School is spirit-filled and focused on improving because of her ability to help students graduate and become productive adults who give back to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Baker. Our next nominee personifies dedication, dependability, and pride. It is difficult to express through mere words how valuable LaRonda Passmore is to E.H. Miller School. LaRonda always goes above and beyond the call of duty, ensuring the school is clean and ready for the day. The staff at E.H. Miller School know they can always count on her to move furniture, clean up a mess, organize a storage area, decorate a door, or read a book to the children. There is nothing she will refuse to help with if it serves our children at E.H. Miller. LaRonda's pride and conscientious work ethic shine through even the most mundane custodial tasks as she brings an effervescent joy to everything she does. The most endearing trait she has is the ability to nurture positive relationships with our children. Ladies and gentlemen, LaRonda Passmore. Our next nominee consistently goes above and beyond, and people take notice. Deborah Wisham never leaves a task unfinished or undone at Interlochen Elementary School. She is very diligent, patient, and thorough worker. It is not unusual for her to donate her personal time after school to ensure that she has accomplished all that has been asked of her. For 29 years, Deborah has always been willing to do more than is expected. The Mother's Day program in May requires a lot of preparation, and she works tirelessly each year to make the event a success. She has a heart of gold. She is compassionate to others during hard times. Some students are less fortunate than others, and Deborah quietly notices and helps take care of their daily needs. When students have academic weaknesses, Deborah motivates them and works hard to help them improve. Her ability to avoid acting frustrated or tense is something that many others see as a strength to admire. Ladies and gentlemen, Deborah Wisham. Our next nominee has been an aide in the self-contained ESC classroom at Interlochen High School for 15 years. In spite of what may be happening, Stacy Lynn Smith shows up to work every day worrying that a student with seizures might get hurt or other students might not get the attention they need. She is ready to rally for the underdog, and she continues to live by a code driven by her own moral convictions. She has helped make hard decisions and, in the end, wise decisions that help students advance academically and emotionally. Students have always been able to speak with her, share their concerns, and accept her guidance. Many parents have asked her to work with their children after school to help them when they were in a crisis. There are a few special people who are not teachers but take on that role and are often more talented than some who have been in the field for many years. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Lynn Smith. Our next nominee is the front desk receptionist at James A. Long Elementary School. Brandy Prothero has taken on responsibilities above and beyond her actual job description. She works with the backpack program, making sure students who need this program are on the list. She runs the Terrific Kid program and is the box tops coordinator for James A. Long. The relationship she has builds with the students is remarkable. She mentors in ways that let these students know that she cares. She does all of this while taking each phone call at the front desk, checking students in and out of school, making announcements, and running interference when there is a panic. Brandy truly has a heart for others, and it is apparent all of the selfless acts that she does. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandy Prothero. Our next nominee was selected as School-Related Employee of the Year at Jenkins Middle School due to her outstanding work ethic. This is Wendy Comer's second year as a custodian at Jenkins after working for many years in our food service department. Wendy approaches everything she does with a smile and a positive attitude. She is proactive by thinking ahead and planning for special circumstances and events at the school. She has developed a great rapport with our students and staff. Her attention to detail and treating Jenkins Middle School as if it were home is evident in all of the areas that she touches. Ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Comer. Our next nominee has been an instructional assistant at Kelly Smith Elementary School for over 17 years. Jane Bushnell is a person who wears many hats. As an instructional assistant, she prints out all of our school-wide copies. She supports our students by running our Character Counts reflection room, and she still finds time in her day to provide small group tutoring for students who need additional support. Jane is a very dependable person who seeks to help everyone. She has a true love for all children, from the top reader to the struggling student to the one who is a daily challenge. She embraces any challenge that arises as a normal part of the school day. She is quick to take action and help generate a solution. Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Bushnell. Our next nominee is a teacher in every way but title. Shanty Wright cares deeply for the students at Mellon Elementary, and through her work, she is closing the gap that limits opportunities of many of our students. She begins her day welcoming children to breakfast and building loving relationships with the kindergarten students whose parents have entrusted her with the care of their children. She sees them to class and immediately prepares to teach reading interventions in a schedule that cycles 150 students through her small group classroom over a 4-hour period. She is prepared every day, ready to do whatever is necessary to provide her students with the help and guidance they need. Her day ends by safely seeing the children into the parents' cars and then returning to her intervention room to prepare to change lives tomorrow. We look forward to the day she moves into her own classroom as a fully certified teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, Shanty Wright. Our next nominee works with challenging student scenarios and has a calm demeanor regardless of the difficulties she may face with those students at Melrose Elementary School. Esmeralda Aravalo works with small groups, individual students with special needs, and in various content capacities. Her success with this extremely diverse group of students lies in her innate ability to develop a personal rapport with each one of them. The students she works with trust her and look up to her as a result of her positive interactions with them. She truly believes all students can learn and does her best to ensure that they do so. Esmeralda is courteous, patient, and friendly to everyone. When students become disruptive or rebellious, even with her, Esmeralda can be found quietly conversing with them, trying to work through whatever problem they are having while de-escalating the student's anger or frustration. Some of her other duties include copying, laminating, helping prepare and execute lesson plans with teachers, lunch duty, daycare, and bus duty. She is truly a quiet, unsung hero of Melrose Elementary School. Ladies and gentlemen, Esmeralda Aravala. Our next nominee has been an employee of Middleton Burney Elementary for a little more than 2 years. Patrice Slaughter goes above and beyond the expectations of an instructional assistant. There is no task too small for her to complete. Her smile is her signature trademark. Patrice tutors 4th grade students during III, Immediate Intensive Intervention, to help strengthen their skills in reading by working on areas where they need to be proficient. She has the regular duties of copying, laminating, and setting up teacher materials, but she also assists the school nurse in the clinic. She does an excellent job of helping to take care of little ones and their injuries. She works well with all grade levels of students and continues to help guide students to make the right choices socially and academically. Patrice is at all of our school functions, lending a helping hand, all the while being an inspirational, uplifting employee. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrice Slaughter. Our next nominee was hired at Miller Middle School earlier this year. In this short time, she has proven to be dependable, efficient, and has demonstrated excellent teacher-student rapport. Her classroom etiquette is remarkable and is illustrated by her attention to detail. An example of this selfless contribution is with a student who requires more one-on-one attention. She never hesitates to volunteer and help this individual as needed. Her direct involvement helps with furthering the student's academic growth. Ebonique monitors students every morning, assists with ELL paperwork, covers lunch duty, and even covers classes when teachers are out. We can always count on her to be in place and working. Ladies and gentlemen, Ebonique Biddle. Our next nominee demonstrates a high level of initiative on a daily basis, going above and beyond the responsibilities of her position of data clerk at Mosley Elementary. It is common during peak times to find Danielle Carter working beyond her usual day to complete a task that she knows is vital to the management of Mosley and the welfare of our students. When a child needs assistance in the main office, she is quick to help. She is cross-trained in every front office position and always pitches in to help anytime she sees that help is needed. She treats every person with respect and is truly loved by her colleagues. Her calm and gentle demeanor has been beneficial in diffusing situations involving frustrated parents. She is dedicated to her job and takes every opportunity to update her skills and knowledge, especially when there are changes to our data system. For more than 15 years, other data clerks, as well as the Mosley family, have relied on Danielle's patience and kindness to walk them through the process. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Carter. Our next nominee runs a tight ship in the cafeteria at Aquila Elementary School, where he is the assistant manager. Brian Parrish knows every student by name and does a great job of making them feel special as they come through the lunch line. He can always be counted on when the school is in a pinch with field trip lunches, socials, or parents' meetings. Brian's dedication does not end there. He can be found most afternoons helping to answer the phone in the office or helping with a technology issue. When Aquila Elementary turned into a shelter during Hurricane Matthew, Brian was there 24 hours each day, making sure everyone got 3 meals a day. Brian's most endearing quality is that he doesn't expect praise, accolades, or compensation for all that he does. He does these things because he is a dedicated member of the Aquila family. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Parrish. Our next nominee spreads joy throughout the campus of CL Overturf 6th Grade Center each day. Jill Sheffield can often be heard giving compliments to students in the auditorium before the school day begins. She is the comforting person that students seek when they do not feel well or are having a bad day. While attending to the health room duties, Jill is constantly making copies or completing last-minute requests for teachers. The Florida Department of Health places a great deal of responsibility on those chosen to run the health room at a school. Jill has handled that responsibility admirably. She has been through hours of training by the health department nurses, as well as ongoing training to care for the specific and challenging needs presented to her by the students at the 6th grade center. She takes her time and provides the level of care that we hope from our med-trained personnel. She treats each child with respect and compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Jill Sheffield. Our next nominee is currently the Executive Secretary at Palatka High School. Christy Lewis is described as one of the hardest working, most professional secretaries ever known. Palatka High serves over 1,200 students and around 100 employees, which creates a huge job, but Christy makes sure every facet of the school runs smoothly. From scheduling and organizing the function of the school to ensuring employees get their paychecks on time, Christy is behind the scenes making sure everything is right. Simply put, she is the glue that holds Palatka High School together. Ladies and gentlemen, Christy Lewis. Our next nominee has been an instructional assistant at Price Middle School for over 2 years. Tina Fletcher does so much more than the title instructional assistant reflects. Tina works with our Read 180 teachers at Price Middle School. In the classroom, Tina helps our students in intensive reading classes. It is with her support that many of the students are able to read on grade level by the end of the year. Tina has a passion for helping kids. Her favorite part of the job is working one-on-one with students that need extra help. She feels that every student has the ability to be successful, and she loves being part of their journey to the high school. When Tina is not helping our Read 180 students, she is asked to sub in other classrooms, sometimes at a moment's notice. She is always willing to help whenever and wherever needed with a smile on her face. Ladies and gentlemen, Tina Fletcher. At Putnam Academy, the faculty depends on Nancy McClellan to keep them straight. She can either answer questions or find someone who can. She will not give up until she finds the correct way of doing something or the correct answer. Nancy may have the title of executive secretary, but she does so much more. She is called upon to bandage scrapes and dry tears. She helps the students with work and reads tests to those who need it. Some of our students stop by the office just to say hi. She helps with morale. She brings food and desserts for the staff, including birthday cakes. Nancy is highly organized, efficient, and professional. Multitasking is a piece of cake for her. With ease, she simultaneously serves as telephone operator, school nurse, directory assistant, accountant, advisor, and school cheerleader. She gives her all to make sure the staff and students of Putnam Academy are the best we can be. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy McClellan. Truly professional, hardworking, and outstanding character are a few of the phrases used to describe our next nominee. Deborah Crowley's role at QI Roberts Junior Senior High School is broad. She not only serves as executive secretary, handling important tasks and paperwork, but she also serves as the webmaster, sports program coordinator, and wellness coordinator. She exudes a confident, unassuming, calm professionalism. She handles tasks with great skill and attention to detail. Deborah is always very diplomatic and clear when working with students, parents, community members, and staff. It is the manner in which she does these things that make her stand out. Deborah embraces the support role and brings new meaning to the word support. Ladies and gentlemen, Deborah Crowley. There is no task too large or too small for our next nominee. If she tells you she will do something, she always follows through. Eileen Langston began her career with Putnam County Schools 14 years ago at Interlochen High School. She has held multiple positions and critical roles as each administrator she worked for saw her abilities and dependability. Currently, she serves as the Executive Secretary of Media Information Services and is representing the entire administration building here tonight. Eileen has an impeccable ability to relate to every person, making them feel important and valued. It is more than obvious that her main focus is to help children succeed. Over the years, she has contributed to many efforts which help students remain in school and excel academically. She continues to do so today as a volunteer for many after-school events. Although she doesn't have the day-to-day contact with students, she is committed to ensuring that all of our teachers and students have access to all of the technology-related programs that move today's curriculum forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Eileen Langston. Our next nominee came to the maintenance department in 2009 after working 21 years in the energy management industry. Malcolm Brown has been a tremendous asset to the maintenance department. He has brought with him a strong knowledge base to help enhance the district's energy management techniques and to lead the district on a greater path to conserving energy. Malcolm presently serves as the maintenance department's energy manager with a wide variety of duties that include daily scheduling of the district's mechanical equipment to run efficiently and scheduling special school events to maintain energy efficiently. Malcolm refines building automation hardware and control strategies, troubleshoots and maintains databases, and helps to resolve network issues. His expertise is a valuable asset to the department's air conditioning and refrigeration mechanics. He coordinates with the mechanical team to help in diagnosing problems and repair in the HVAC equipment. Malcolm is always enthusiastic and takes his job to heart. He is eager to be of service while looking for avenues to continue to conserve energy for our school district. Ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm Brown. Our first nominee from the Transportation Department is Melissa Hale. Missy has worked in the Palatka Transportation Department for 13 years. She started as a bus driver, driving for 6 years, and currently holds the position of secretary, which she has held for 7 years. Missy is in charge of employee records, field trips, payroll, and many other duties that she is asked to do. She serves as the insurance representative and wellness coordinator for the entire department. Missy is extremely helpful and assists our drivers with any issues they encounter. She is organized and keeps things situated so they can be easily located. She works to keep all our documents up to date and notifies our employees when deadlines are approaching. Ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Hale. Our second nominee from the Transportation Department has been a bus driver in Crescent City for just over 1 year. Scott Witham is a very dedicated employee and does anything and everything it takes to get the job done. He is the one that is pulled to drive an extra route when we are short-handed in South Putnam. He doesn't miss a beat and safely transports all of the students to and from school. He enjoys the challenge and always has a positive attitude. Scott performs extra duties as well. He washes his bus as well as several others. He drives for field trips where he has been praised by parents, teachers, and students. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Witham. Our final nominee for support-related employee tonight has been a bus driver in the Interlochen area for over 4 years. Carol Trevarthen is a dedicated and safe driver. She is always willing to assist whenever and wherever she is needed. She doubles up on routes when we are short-handed in the West Putnam area. She also volunteers to help other drivers with computer issues they encounter. She completes all of her paperwork on time and keeps it up to date. This year, Carol organized a group of drivers for the Christmas parade in which a bus was decorated and the drivers passed out candy to the children at the parade. Carol also volunteers her extra time with the Scouts of America and the Junior ROTC at Interlochen High School. All of this is always done with a smile on her face. Accepting on behalf of Ms. Trevarthen is Director of Transportation, Rodney Simons.
Our first nominee for Teacher of the Year has been teaching at Brownie Pierce Elementary for only 1 year. Yet when you enter her classroom, you enter a space that is calm, inviting, and full of possibilities. Students are thinking, asking questions, writing, and creating, all because Laura Shettle has instilled in them a deep love of learning. On her wall is the word collaboration. Throughout the day in Laura's class, students collaborate with each other to explore new ideas and share their thinking. She collaborates with her colleagues as they teach and learn together, often putting in countless hours after school and throughout the summer planning exemplary lessons. Parents have expressed that she collaborates with them to make learning seamless from school to home. Laura Shettle exemplifies the word collaboration. She is that teacher who changes the lives of the students who are lucky to have her as their teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Shettle. Our next nominee is in his second year of teaching Algebra 1 at Crescent City High School. Oliver Anderson has proven himself to be student achievement oriented by offering after-school tutoring every day for the students in his Algebra 1 class, as well as offering help to any student that is struggling with their math content. He creates an environment with his students that makes math fun by using the excellent rapport he has developed with his students by showing genuine concern of their interest. Mr. Anderson shows that their interest and extracurricular activities are just as important and makes himself available to come out and support them at band concerts, athletic events, club activities, and just about everything else our students have going on in their lives. Mr. Anderson knows the importance of parent involvement and creates a relationship with parents that is supportive to the education of these students. A true team player for Crescent City High, he put together a training for his colleagues on how to implement the flipped learning model that has been promoted on the district's YouTube site for other teachers in the district to use. Ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Jacob Anderson. Our next nominee is an amazingly patient, giving soul to touch the hearts of our most needy students who have lost their way at some point during their young lives and are begging for someone to find a way to mend all of the bridges they have burned in their path. Mr. William Stroman is that teacher at E.H. Miller School. He teaches our most fragile, high school, emotional, behaviorally disabled students and skillfully manages to reach their emotional, social, and academic needs. Because of Mr. Stroman, these students have an opportunity for a successful life, enriched with a foundation built on shared experiences of trust and love. In his quiet consistency, Mr. Stroman's students are given the most important tools they will need for a life fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, William Stroman. When you walk into Sandra Alford's room at Interlochen Elementary School, you know you have entered the realm of an organized and innovative educator. The classroom has a fun, Navy, nautical theme. Everything from the floor to the ceiling matches and has a clear educational purpose. Sandy loves all students, but she has an extraordinary gift for being a champion for the underperforming student. She works tirelessly to provide support, enrichment, and remediation in her classroom on a daily basis. Huge learning gains occur because of the focused, constant academic push. It is inspiring to hear the positive way Sandy addresses her students and to see the rapport she has built with each of them. She differentiates her instruction and is willing to go the extra mile to make sure she meets the needs of each child. During meetings, Sandy knows the data and level of functioning of each of her students without looking at her notes. Sandy is not only concerned about her own classroom, but she takes time to mentor and model for teachers new to the profession. Many teachers have praised her willingness to share ideas and be a team player. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandy Alford. Our next nominee has single-handedly resurrected the advanced placement program at Interlochen High School to the point that students are on a waiting list to be part of this arena. Chris Wyckoff's withedness to seamlessly embed research-proven best practices into her classroom is flawless. Her administrators felt that their words could not convey her level of impact at Interlochen High, so they have asked a few of her students to share their experiences. Justin Alexander writes, "In my 4 years of high school, I have never had a teacher come close to teaching me as much about academics and life. She always goes the extra mile and is never afraid to serve up some tough love." No. Noah Peacock writes, "Mrs. Wyckoff has made a monumental impact on my education and my life. She was the first teacher who treated us as adults. She expected our best, and in one way or another, she got it. She never lowers her expectations or level of difficulty. She helps each individual student discover their own style." Samuel Brown explains, "Her class is both rigorous and amazingly constructive. No student could possibly ask for a better mentor. A student could enter her class nearly illiterate and leave with a masterful command of the English language." Hannah Shover states, "After 3 years, she not only taught me the intricacy of the English language, but also respect, honor, and love for myself." Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Wyckoff. You will not find a more patient, kind, and compassionate teacher than Mandy Richardson from James A. Long Elementary School. Mandy is very humble and does not realize how truly unique her selfless and gracious acts are. She truly inspires and motivates every child through love, laughter, and encouragement. Mandy is not only a champion for students, but for her peers as well. She is a master at making connections and building relationships. Some of the unique things Mandy does for her students is to create PowerPoint presentations for each lesson that she teaches. She offers flexible seating when the students are working independently. She holds a one-of-a-kind end-of-the-year ceremony where each child is celebrated and awarded for their unique contributions. It is said that the size of a person's accomplishment can best be measured by the size of their heart. Mandy's accomplishments are immeasurable. Ladies and gentlemen, Mandy Richardson. Our next nominee should have the word volunteer as her middle name. In only her second year of teaching, Lindsay Missamore has volunteered to be the 8th grade team leader at Jenkins Middle School. An unofficial mentor to 4 new teachers, assists with sporting events by running the concession stands, operating scoreboards, coaching the girls on track team, and as a youth leader at Francis Baptist Church. Lindsay began her career as a substitute teacher, and in just her second year, she embodies the qualities of a seasoned teacher. She is coachable, reflects on her instructional practice, works to build relationships with students and peers, and thinks of ways to improve Jenkins Middle School as a whole. Lindsay continuously seeks to learn more about her craft in order to deliver the content and how to help her struggling students. She seeks feedback from every classroom visit and discusses with her mentors and administrators insights she has gained from reflecting on her lessons as she strives to improve her own instructional practice. She loves new things and opportunities to be coached in order to become a better teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay Nicole Missamore. Our next nominee has over 15 years of teaching experience, and the first thing everyone notices when entering her family environment classroom is the love and respect that is mutually shown between Crystal Brown and her students at Kelly Smith Elementary School. Her door is always open for both students and parents, as her number one goal is to develop meaningful and lasting relationships with everyone. As you observe her instruction, her focus is on questioning and differentiation at the teacher table to support the growth of all her students. In order for quality teacher instruction to take place, her routines and procedures are top-notch. Crystal is very receptive to new ideas aside from her own. She values all of her colleagues and is willing to help in any way possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal Brown. Our next nominee is a teacher leader in all ways. She is the first to volunteer when things need doing. She is creative in her approach, and she is vocally supportive of every effort in which we endeavor to ensure student success at Mellon Elementary. Leah Hines has built a community in her classroom and on her grade level where she shares all fifth grade students with the English teacher. This community is one of high expectations and friendly competition, a recipe that has paid off through the growth of her students academically and socially. Her ownership of student success shows when she is the first to dig into data and identify the needs of her students in her own areas of improvement. Juggling the emotional needs of students who also have major gaps in their math knowledge is a challenge that only can be met by a highly skilled teacher, and Leah keeps those plates spinning with the small group lessons, engaging center activities, rigorous assessment, and hard conversations which empower students to take responsibility of their own learning. She has been the president of the School Advisory Council for 3 years and coordinates families to participate in the guidance of Mellon Elementary. She volunteers for Families First, our community outreach program, by holding meetings at the community centers of our neighborhoods on a monthly basis. Ladies and gentlemen, Leah Hines. Our next nominee is an outstanding teacher and reading coach. Carmen McKinney receives a great deal of respect from the students, parents, and staff at Melrose Elementary School. She enjoys being creative to motivate students to do their best and encourage self-confidence. Carmen taught second grade for 9 years and is now in her 3rd year as a reading coach. This position allows her to assist teachers with lessons, model lessons, help plan with teachers and PLCs, work with the aides for tutoring, and work with students in small groups. She also schedules all of the iReady diagnostic tests and assists with MTSS. Carmen takes part in and plans many extracurricular events for students and parents. Events such as Accelerated Reader Night, Bingo for Books, Craft Night, and she assists with the Fall Festival, after-school dances, and many other events. She is always willing to help in any way she can. Since September, Carmen has been the reading coach at both Melrose and Aquila Elementary Schools. She has diligently put her heart and soul into doing the best possible job she could do and made it all successful with a difficult routine and task to deal with each week. Carmen remains positive and smiling to accept any challenge and give it her best. Ladies and gentlemen, Carmen McKinney. Our next nominee has been a mighty bee at Middleton Burney Elementary for over 7 years. She is described as the nicest person on campus. Rosa Wingfield teaches kindergarten ESE. Her patience with challenging students is unmatched. She uses calm, kind methods to build strong relationships with her students as well as their parents. Her love for her students is genuine and can be felt whenever you enter her classroom. Rosa is a teacher that her principal sends the other teachers to observe so they can see how effective planning for questioning can enhance a listening comprehension lesson. Due to her success in the classroom, Rosa was chosen to be the inclusion teacher in kindergarten for 2 students with Down syndrome and another that suffers from daily seizures. Along with 2 instructional assistants assigned to her room, Rosa is helping these students adjust to regular classroom placement, grow academically, and grow in the social-emotional development. Ladies and gentlemen, Rosa Wingfield. Our next nominee has dedicated over 31 years of service to this district. Janice Word is ethical, passionate, hardworking, and thoughtful. Let my works speak for me is synonymous with Janice. She consistently comes to work early and stays late, ensuring that she is ready to meet the needs of her students. As an educator, she has witnessed many trends, transformations, and challenges of this educational system over the last 30 years. Instead of seeing the challenges of our ever-transitioning educational system as a frustrating obstacle, she has embraced them, learned from them, and has learned to adapt her curriculum as well to her instructional practice without compromising her values and the needs of her students. Janice has a very mild demeanor. No matter what the situation, you can most certainly count on her for a smile. Her students respect her because she is fair, and they know she cares about them. They also know she has high expectations. She works with them individually and collectively to ensure that they achieve success. Ladies and gentlemen, Janice Word. Our next nominee is a second grade teacher at Mosley Elementary School who is committed to providing a nurturing, creative, productive learning environment for her students. Students love being in Hannah Wickstrom's class because she makes learning fun. Her lessons provide students the opportunity to be creative, yet provide a structure that is rigorous and helps them develop critical thinking skills. Hannah's enthusiasm for learning transfixes her students and has transformed them into eager, inquisitive learners. The atmosphere in her classroom is welcoming and makes students feel comfortable. As the second grade team leader, Hannah interacts with her peers in a professional manner and serves as a model for new teachers. Her organization, creativity, and enthusiasm shines through in everything she does. Walking into her class is an exhilarating experience because of the positive energy generated by Hannah and her students. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Wickstrom. Our next nominee has been a member of the Aquila Elementary family since 2010 and served as a teacher in first grade and fifth grade. Timothy Stevens is also a product of Putnam County Schools as a student at Melrose Elementary and Interlochen High School. Tim has a degree in theater from Florida School of the Arts and has demonstrated his talents in many varied opportunities, including playing guitar in a bluegrass band and performing in several theater groups. Tim has also served as an AmeriCorps reading tutor for young children, where he began this journey as being a teacher. Tim's love for education began early in his life and has been the driving force behind everything he does in his classroom. He was able to motivate his students in 2014 to become some of the highest growth scorers in Putnam County, and that was his first year as a fifth grade language arts teacher. His love of theater and music has played a part in engaging his students in literature and encouraging them to find a love for reading and lifelong learning. In many school events, Tim models for the students how to interact with each other and how to communicate effectively with their peers and with adults, all the while with the understanding that these skills will be the tools they need to survive beyond the classroom into their adult lives. Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy Stevens. Our next nominee has been a teacher in Putnam County Schools for over 10 years. The past 4 at the CL Overturf 6th Grade Center, where she is currently teaching science, including 2 Cambridge classes and an AVID elective. Stephanie Smith is a strong advocate for the AVID program, Advancement via Individual Determination. She participated in the Summer Institute and also led a presentation to the school board about the benefits of AVID. Stephanie has a major impact at the 6th Grade Center as she has served as a team leader, soccer coach, field trip sponsor, and yearbook advisor. She is a very passionate teacher who takes great pride in her job. She is well respected by her colleagues and students. She is an integral part of a cohesive science team that plans together daily. She integrates technology in her classroom on a routine basis. She makes learning the science standards fun and engaging through collaborative learning groups, hands-on learning, and classroom experiments. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Smith. Our next nominee has taught the health science classes at Palatka High School for the past 2 decades and has built an amazing partnership with our local medical community. Sharon Harris has received recognition from across the state due to the success of Palatka High's health science program and the numerous industry certifications her students have earned. Sharon is known as one of the most dedicated teachers at Palatka High. She is always the first to donate her time, talents, financial backing, and efforts into any school endeavor. Sharon attends all school functions, even the ones she is not required to attend, like dances, sporting events, award ceremonies, committee meetings, parent nights, and community events held at Palatka High. Her philosophy as a teacher at Palatka High should represent our school at any and all events to demonstrate to our community and all stakeholders that our staff truly cares about this community and the students we serve. Whenever you see Sharon Harris, you will have a smile on her face and will have a current or former student near her whose life she has touched. Ladies and gentlemen, Sharon Harris. Our next nominee has been a teacher at Price Middle School for 4 years. Katie Bernard came into education after working in another career and found herself teaching 7th grade civics. Katie is an outstanding young educator who came in determined to not only be the absolute best academic teacher, but a teacher who goes above and beyond for her students. She has worked diligently to grow her profession as well as the knowledge of her students. When she began her career, end-of-course exams for civics had just been introduced. Katie took this challenge, worked with her peers at Price as well as her peers from other middle schools in our district. She now leads professional development with these teachers as well. Her student scores have increased each year because of her willingness to step outside the box and work with so many other educators. When you walk into her classroom, you will see students working together and leading conversations where she is the facilitator of their learning. She has created an atmosphere where students are comfortable stepping up to the plate and taking on the leader role. Instruction in her classroom goes from bell to bell, and there is no question as to what is going on. Just ask her students. Ladies and gentlemen, Katie Bernard. Our next nominee really knows how to teach math. Donna Scapoletti eats, sleeps, and breathes mathematics at Putnam Academy of Arts and Sciences. She creates that same excitement for math in her students by demanding their best efforts, by communicating daily with parents, and going the extra mile after school to ensure that each one is successful. Many students enter her classroom lacking a basic mathematical foundation, but they exit with a deep understanding of and a tremendous passion for the subject Albert Einstein called the poetry of logical ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna Scapoletti. Our next nominee has taught history and language arts for the past 4 years at Q.I. Roberts Junior Senior High School. Sarah Weeks is a strong role model for her students as well as the other teachers. She truly cares about each student's success and finds a way to help them be successful. Our students not only learn content from her, but they learn a positive value through her modeling of caring, self-advocacy, civic responsibility, and professionalism. Sarah can motivate and challenge all spectrums of our student body, from her older ACE history students to her younger social studies students. She crafts activities that make social studies relevant, from a debate over whether Germany was treated fairly after the World War II treaties to a mock war. She gets her students to consider the perspective of others, to put themselves in the other's role, to truly understand all sides so that they can avoid similar mistakes in the future. Sarah is a creative teacher who has a love of learning herself, which is infectious with her students. Ladies and gentlemen, our final nominee for Teacher of the Year tonight, Sarah Weeks.
I just want to make a little announcement. We have some people in here we need to recognize who made this night possible, and I want to recognize Debbie Decubellis, our area director, and Debbie's South Area Director and Director of Staff Services, and I would like her department to please stand. They worked so hard to make this night possible. Thank you for everything. And at this time, we have a couple of important announcements.
The moment we have all been waiting for. It is my pleasure to announce the Putnam County School-Related Employee of the Year from Aquilla Elementary, the Assistant Cafeteria Manager, Mr. Brian Parrish. At this time, it is my privilege to announce the 2018 Teacher of the Year for Putnam County School District, also from Aquilla Elementary, Mr. Timothy Stevens. Congratulations. Congratulations to you both and to all our nominees. Your commitment to our district and your devotion to our students is greatly appreciated. Please remember that you will all live forever in the hearts and memories of your students. To all our event sponsors, Georgia Pacific, Bates and Hewitt, Knights of Columbus, we thank you again for your generosity and continued support. I too would like to thank my support staff. They are wonderful and do an amazing job. To the Musselwhite Seafood staff, we thank you for a delicious dinner. And finally, to our guests, we thank you for joining us and recognizing these outstanding employees. Have a wonderful evening. Please drive safely, and good night.